Okay, it is 5:30. I'd like to call to order the Desert Sands Unified Special Board Meeting of June 28, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. Ms. Pierce, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 3, roll call. Roll call will show that all board members are here either in person or teleconferencing. Cabinet members present are Mr. Aquino, Mrs. Fisher, and Dr. Hyde. Moving on to number 4, approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda of the special board meeting on June 28, 22? Is there a second?
Second, Tricia Pierce.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda of the special board meeting on June 28, 2022. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 5, public comments on open session items. We have 3. Communications from the floor. In accordance with bylaws of the board 9323, time is reserved for oral communications by members of the Board of Education or by citizens present. Citizens wishing to be heard on agenda items shall have a 3-minute limit and should indicate their intention at this time. In accordance with the law, decisions of the board cannot be made on any matter not previously published before the board meeting as indicated in bylaws of the board 9323.2. First is Mr. Duran.
Again, good afternoon, I guess, everyone. Good to see you again. I just wanted to begin today by just saying, I don't know if anybody, I know a lot of you are working, but you're going to get to see I saw a profile in Courage today of a nation, and we witnessed this young lady, the Cassidy Hutchinson gal who got up and spoke. I couldn't believe she was 26 years of age and basically got up there and fulfilled her duty in a nutshell. She took an oath. They take an oath to work in the White House, and she, someone who put their country, their community, and their oath to the Constitution above their personal needs and safety. She's not an elected official, I wrote here. However, all the workers in the White House have to take the oath to uphold the Constitution, today subjecting herself and her family to danger to fulfill her duty. See, our country is full of accounts where elected and unelected individuals have stepped up and continue to stay the course, even at a personal cost. Where would we be if all didn't understand the difference between service, self-serving, and selfish? What do we say to our students who have difficulties? Okay, as a counselor, I've seen many students and families suffer tremendous tragedies, tremendous tragic situations. Yet, we encourage them to complete the work, finish the assignment. Parents dying of cancer, siblings that they care for at their young ages, yet we demand of them to do their work. What message would we be sending today if we don't allow somebody to step away? Lastly, the acceptance, I believe, of this resignation would put the power of $500 million budget into the hands of 3 people. As we saw yesterday, if one was to become ill or unable to attend a meeting, well, we'd be at a disadvantage for sure. Would your decision change, if Mrs. Jonathan's district received either no guidance or funding during this time? Lastly, I'd just like to say I'm not sure if the community was given 72 hours before this meeting. I don't know how that works entirely, but I know I had to rush over here to get here, and I'm wondering if more people didn't have that difficulty. But I just want to close with that I really think that it really needs to be looked at some way, because to go 6 months, and that's how long you would go, with 3 trustees, I think really potentially is a recipe for maybe a mistake or something down the line. With that, I'd like to say hi to everybody and thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Next is John Parker.
Good evening. I haven't been here for a while. Hopefully you've been getting my emails. I try and not send you a lot of them, but occasionally with some valuable information that I would certainly hope that you pass on. I only have the email addresses of the trustees. In line with what I've been sending to you, today the FDA, in a 19-2 vote, voted to approve the, injection, let's call it that, for Omicron, BA4, and BA5. Now, there is no testing and there is no data on that injection. And what they did is they said, well, we reserve the right to do the testing after we administer the injection. Now, you might think to yourself, well, why would they need to approve, or why would they approve something now that's for the fall season? Well, the reason for that is they consulted with the manufacturers of these injections and said, how long will it take you to prepare dosages for a new round of injections? And the manufacturer said, well, we need, X amount of time, 6 months, whatever, to be prepared. So that's why they rushed to approve what is going to be injected not only in the children's arm, unfortunately, which is why I'm here and why I've been here for a year talking about this subject. A year. And it's only getting worse. They're doubling down now. And as you know, unless you just ignore what's going on and don't really dig in deep or don't read what I send to you, what this is really all about is the pharmaceutical companies they're making record profits. That's not a secret. Okay, we know what's going on with that. And they want to make sure that they continue to make that $50 billion a year. You're just a pawn in it. Okay, you get direction from above that this is the program, this is what we're going to roll out at whatever the time frame is. These are the children that are quote unquote eligible to be injected, and you comply. But there is no testing, there is no information on what could happen, and we know that myocarditis, heart inflammation is up 44% after the injections, and women's complications up 25%, to say nothing of the deaths. Now, I'm not prepared tonight to go into, all the facts and figures of the whole thing, but you need to be aware of what's coming up, because you're going to make a decision that will affect a lot of people's lives.
Thank you. Next is Celeste Feeler.
Good evening, Board. I want to share with you something that parents poll is called PRAs in their public record request. We all saw Mr. Snell's last article or Substack with Patricia Pierce communicating with John Hortz, who is in the media. He asked if the group that served you in November, what was the group behind, is that the group behind the Desert Sands recall? She went above and beyond to give him information. Yes, Kenny Snell is handling the paperwork. Our registered letters come from him. He is a teacher on leave at La Quinta High School. You may have seen him speak at board meetings. Some teachers are on leave because they won't get vaccinated or do weekly testing. But you didn't hear that from me. We did now. So, what this sounds like is unfair practices and certainly seems like unfair labor practices. And I'm not a lawyer, but from a non-lawyer perspective, it's a HIPAA violation, employee being outed and unfair labor practices, free speech for purposes of exercising his rights, and informing a news station that did not ask for this information is doxing, it's petty and mean-spirited, and in reality goes beyond a HIPAA as well. And this goes for all of Desert Sands educators. And you gave this information out without their knowledge, and that was unfair to them. But at the same time, we have a candidate that is currently running that publicly called white parents unpigmented, while at the same time saying that she represents stakeholders, parents, students, teachers, staff, and their community. Will you be informing the media of that? Or will you side with the community that only sides with you? And not be nonpartisan while you have that seat? Because I haven't seen any of that being condemned. And we are demanding that you resign. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is all the public comments. Moving on to item 6, General Function Superintendent. Item 6.1, Resolution Number 39/2021-2022, declaring a governing board vacancy in Trustee Area 1 and the method to fill the vacancy. Board Member Wendy Jonathan has filed notice of a resignation from the board effective August 20, 2022. In accordance with Education Code Section 5093 and Board Bylaw 9223, when a vacancy occurs from 6 months to 130 days before a regularly scheduled board election, at which the position is not scheduled to be filled, a special election to fill the position shall be consolidated with the regular election. Is there a motion to approve to adopt Resolution Number 39/2021-2022? Is there a second?
Second, Tricia Pierce.
It has been moved and seconded to approve to adopt Resolution Number 39/2021-2022. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, as this is a resolution, it calls for a roll call vote. Ms. Pierce?
Aye.
Ms. Porras?
Aye.
Ms. Jonathan?
I will be abstaining.
Thank you. And I vote aye. This motion carries. Moving on to item 6.2, revised resolution number 38/2021-2022, order of election of Desert Sands Unified School District of Riverside County, California. In accordance with California Education Code Section 5340, the County Superintendent of Schools is providing notice to the governing boards of school and community college districts that a consolidated election is required to be held on November 8, 2022. Revised Resolution Number 38/2021-2022, Order of Election of Desert Sands Unified School District of Riverside County, California, is necessary to meet the requirements of Education Code Section 5304, Section 5322, and Section 5340. Executed copies of this resolution are to be submitted concurrently to the Riverside County Superintendent of Schools and the Registrar of Voters at least 123 days prior to the election day of November 8, 2022. Is there a motion to approve to adopt revised resolution number 38/2021-2022? Is there a second?
Tricia Pierce, second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve to adopt revised resolution number 38/2021-2022. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, as this is a resolution, it calls for a roll call vote. Ms. Pierce?
Aye.
Ms. Porras? Ms. Jonathan?
I will be abstaining.
And I vote aye. This motion carries. Moving on to item 7, adjournment. This meeting is adjourned at 5:43 p.m. Thank you.